to take just a few protocols out of the TCP IP stack and look at their inherent vulnerabilities and how they can be exploited by attackers. Then in the future lessons, we'll delve into a few of these and show you how they work hands-on. The internet is really nothing but a complex network regulated by protocols that dictate how data is sent and received. Today, we'll delve into some of these protocols, specifically HTTP, ARP, ICMP, DHCP, and DNS, and we're going to explore some of their inherent vulnerabilities. Let's start with HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol allows for communication between different systems, most commonly used when transferring data over the web. However, HTTP is not secure. It does not encrypt the data being sent, potentially exposing any sensitive information to anyone who intercepts that data. It's like sending sensitive documents in a transparent envelope. Anyone who comes across it can read the contents. Attackers can perform a man-in-the-middle, intercept traffic, and read the contents of it. That's the inherent vulnerability of HTTP. Next, we have ARP, or Address Resolution Protocol. ARP is responsible inside of networks for mapping out IP addresses to a physical address on a local network. Your device might know the IP address, but it doesn't actually know the MAC address, which is a layer 2 protocol that it needs to communicate with that device, and that is what ARP comes into play. You can send ARP requests, your device does, to figure all of that out. ARP has a trust issue. It accepts any updates without authentication by default. This could lead to a vulnerability called ARP spoofing, where an attacker can falsify their MAC address and claim to be another device and hijack that traffic. Then we have ICMP, or the Internet Control Message Protocol. ICMP is used for error reporting and operational information. You've probably commonly heard this referred to as a ping. Can you ping that device or try to ping that server? You are sending an ICMP request to that server to validate, is communication working or not? Now, the downside here is that ICMP can be exploited to create a denial of service attack, effectively flooding the target system and rendering it inaccessible. Okay, DHCP. DHCP, or the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, assigns IP addresses to devices on a network. When your laptop connects to the Wi-Fi, you need an IP address to be able to communicate. The DHCP server keeps track of what device has what IP address, and it gives you one that is available for your communication. However, without the proper security measures, an attacker could pose as a DHCP server and distribute malicious IP configurations and perform DHCP spoofing. Why would they do this? Because they can get your device, the victim's device, to connect to their device, the attacker device, and they can start that man-in-the-middle cycle and see all of your traffic. And finally, there's DNS, or Domain Name System. DNS translate IP addresses into domain names. When you go to your browser, you type in www.google.com, right? It's just easier for us to remember. It's a lot harder to remember 8.8.8.8 or 8.8.4.4, whatever that IP address is, but we can remember domain names. DNS points your computer when you type in that google.com, all right, here's the IP address to go to, because that's how servers and computers actually talk. But DNS can fall prey to DNS spoofing or cache poisoning, where an attacker could redirect a user to a fraudulent website by corrupting a DNS server cache or corrupting the DNS cache of that system. So in summary, while all of these protocols play crucial roles in the functioning of the internet and our day-to-day use of computers and technology, their inherent vulnerabilities, if left unchecked or without some kind of compensating control, can be exploited by attackers. So as a security professional, it's essential that you're aware of these vulnerabilities so that you can implement effective security countermeasures. In the next lessons, we're going to explore these vulnerabilities and talk about some ways that you can actually prevent them from being exploited.